What's up everyone? And today we're kind of just cruising around Tokigawa-machi. We're actually passing a bakery right now, this little place right here. It's not that far from my house. My house is just over this little hill. But I was hoping the bakery would be open today, just so I could show it to you guys. I also haven't been there myself. They're only open 3 days a week, and I always forget what those 3 days are. My neighbor told me, but I just forgot. But anyway, the weather has been just truly dreadful. So I didn't want to go too far because it's actually supposed to rain again a little bit later. So I was like, okay, well, what can I do? What can I do? And I was like, you know what, it's not raining now. So how about we just walk around the neighborhood a little bit? So my house is in a little grouping of houses, and they're all like really close together. And I didn't want to really disturb my neighbors there, so I just walked over the little hill because I know everything's more spaced out here. And then there's also, all of this is all rice field. So they already planted, they're still planting some of it, but I thought it'd be cool to check out the rice field. I know, at least I had the stereotype of, well, they must plant a lot of rice in Japan. I don't know if it's like a true stereotype though, because it's just a matter of fact. But going to Tokyo all the time and just staying more in the city, you don't really see too much of the agricultural side of Japan. And that's exactly where I live, is just in the heart of ag. I wake up and I go to the store, and on my way to the store I either smell some form of manure or another form of manure, and everyone's just the kind farming. So on this side too, it's all rice. It's all rice. All rice. I think they're called rice paddies, something like that. And then this is like my local train right here. And the station's a little bit over this way. And then they're starting to make these modern looking houses over here. Like the black on the outside. I think this one might also be like a shop maybe, just because of the 2 doors in the front. I'm not entirely sure. But all in all, pretty cool. I have a more traditional older house that I'm staying in. Ohayou gozaimasu. But needless to say, I think it's cool seeing all the newer houses coming in. And then over here, this is what we leave our trash and recycles in. So there's a schedule on the front. I kind of want to cross the road, that's why I'm not staying. This road is really tight, and the cars, there's this bend. It's kind of abunai, kind of dangerous. But we're gonna cross over here on this railroad track. Always look both ways, make sure nothing's there. Yesterday when I came over here, the train actually came straight down. So if you go down that way, I want to say that's towards Ogose. If you go all the way down the other way, you're heading towards Tokigawa-machi. And then from either one of those stations, I catch the Tobu line. Of course, if I go to Ogose, I catch the Tobu Ogose line. And then that normally takes me more into Tokyo. And then from there, I can catch one of the JR lines, like the Yamato line. I normally catch a lot. That's the green line is the Yamato line. It goes in a circle. It hits Ueno and Ikebukuro, Akihabara. And from there, you can go pretty much anywhere, because after that you're in Tokyo. But those are 3 major places for Tokyo as is. These houses look a little bit more modern too. But with the weather being how it is, I didn't want to go into Tokyo because 1, the forecast said it was going to be pouring, and 2, the dogs, Cole, my boy dog, he doesn't have any problem doing his business, whatever weather it is. If he gotta go, he gotta go. My girl dog Sandy, well, if the weather's bad, then she's not going. She's a little bit stubborn. So opportune moments like this one, where it's not raining or pouring or anything, that's kind of what we look forward to. So we keep an eye out. we take them out 2 to 3 times a day, mostly 2 times. But yeah, it's a little bit hard because if we go into town, we might miss the moment, and then Sandy might have an accident somewhere. But anyway, I've noticed living here with these rice paddies and everything that they don't do it by hand. I've seen some people do a little bit of it by hand, but then others, they have this, it's almost like a tractor. But on the back of it, it takes the rice crop and it pokes the hole and plants the rice all in one go. Oh, 大丈夫? So the other thing too is it's very muddy here. It's very muddy. The lady behind me, she slipped, but she didn't fall. So the daijoubu is basically, are you okay? But she told me that she's okay and it's nothing to worry about. But anyway, just living in a really small town like this, there's a lot of good mornings, a lot of good afternoons every time you see someone. They're very friendly here, and they're a little bit more laid back. So I have a half sleeve on my left side of the tattoo, and I was a little bit worried moving to Japan that it would cause problems. People would think like I was Yakuza or in a gang or something if they saw it. But after getting to know some of my neighbors and talking to them, they said that over here, nobody really cares. But they said it in a much like nicer way, like it doesn't really matter to them. They're more laid back. They, like even piercings are okay here too. Piercings don't really matter. But more into Tokyo is where the stereotype actually comes into fruition, which is ironic because when I went into Tokyo, when I first moved here, I was wearing shorter sleeves and I didn't really care if somebody saw the tattoo. I was wearing piercings too, but because both my ears are pierced, yeah. But over here, I would like be a little bit more like formal dressed and long sleeves or a jacket, piercings out. But it looks like I had it the reverse way. So, of course, I have the gaijin benefactor, right? Like I don't look like I'm from here, so a lot of times they just look at me and they're like, oh, tourist, he's not from here, he's gaijin. So I don't think I get misconstrued as a bad person, just a foreigner. So in that retrospect, it's a little bit delightful because I can actually be more chill with how I'm appearing outside, because like it was hotter when we moved here. I didn't want to wear long sleeves, but I just did because I didn't want my neighbors to hate me. But I didn't have to worry about it. So now I wear tank tops and go around my business if I have to. But we're still passing rice. This is all rice, guys. And a couple of my neighbors are very friendly and we talk. Some of them speak English. And a lot of this rice gets sold to restaurants. So if you go out to eat somewhere in Saitama, you might be eating the rice from over here, Tokigawa-machi. But yeah, I just thought it was cool to come check this out, see a little bit more of the countryside. There is a greenhouse over there. I've been trying to see what they grow over there, but I can't really tell, and I'm not that familiar with plants. I asked my brother, but he couldn't get a real good look at it either. And then this mountain over here, this just wild upgrowth, has bears, raccoons, snakes. And I think that's it. Of course, with like your normal insects everywhere too. But that being said, there are not that much things to do in Tokigawa-machi that I'm aware of. I'm not really aware of everything that goes on over here. But by living here, you do get like these little pamphlets and magazines once a month about things that, upcoming events and whatnot for Tokigawa-machi. But it's all in Japanese, and when I hit certain kanjis I don't know, that's about as far as my literacy goes. So I do use a translator sometimes. That's how I know that there's an aquarium in Saitama, but that's like an hour and 30 minutes away from here. There's a children's zoo. I wanted to check it out because it said zoo, but then I was like, wait, but it's a children's zoo. So I looked more into it, and it's like a petting zoo for kids. You can go there and they can like romp around with like goats and stuff and pet them. And I think there's like a playground too. So pretty cool, but not exactly like a zoo. So we did pass Ueno Zoo last time we were in Ueno, so if I want to go check out a zoo, I'll just go back there, go check out all the bears and whatnot. But I do like how quiet and open it is here. There's not the hustle and bustle of Tokyo. There's not the racing back and forth with like places that you have to go because you're on a schedule. Of course, that's all work obligations, I'm sure. But over here, my friends that are farmers, my neighbors, they wake up around 5 a.m., 4 or 5 a.m. They start farming. They're POW at like 12 and they take a nap. And after that, the day's pretty much theirs. I don't know about the waking up at 4:30, 5 a.m. part, but I think it's nice to get like a solid, what is that, 7 hours? 7 hours of work that early, so that way you have the rest of your day. I mean, yeah, the nap's gonna be needed. I don't know how long the nap's gonna be if it was me, but the reason I'm bringing this up is they've been saying that my brother and I, we should start farming since we live here. They said that there's open land that we could farm on, but I talked to my brother about it and he's not that convinced yet. He did want to make like a little garden that we could use the vegetables for our home, so that way we don't have to buy vegetables, even though, well, vegetables are very cheap here, but like free is free, right? If you're just putting in a little time and effort growing your own vegetables, you're still saving money. But since all of our neighbors are farmers, they always have extra vegetables and they normally give us vegetables. So I don't think there's a real need for that. In return, my brother normally cooks like a Hawaiian dish or a local food dish that you can't really get here. And he goes ahead and he gives them that, which they're like super stoked about. But there's actually quite a bit of ethnicities here in Tokigawa-machi. One of my neighbors came from India. Another one of my neighbors came from Brazil. Look both ways. There's a Thai couple that just moved in. I haven't met them yet. And of course there's Japanese. So yeah. The only thing is, when we go shopping, it's mostly Japanese stuff. I mean, big surprise there. It took us a while to find tortillas. But we found tortillas yesterday, so we made tacos, and I was like super stoked to eat tacos. But yeah, that's one of the only things that is a little bit rough. But this is gonna be the train station, and I'm going back into the land of houses and whatnot. But Tokigawa-machi station's right there. So that's gonna do it for this one, guys. I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one.